Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. No, it's not clickbait. If you do have a Swift, I highly recommend that you keep watching this video, and it concerns this area here, the front gas locker. All will be revealed in a moment. Now, first of all, I'd like to explain how I found this problem. Basically, the other day I came to the caravan and took the cover off getting ready to go away. And I thought I'll quickly check inside the gas locker, make sure I've got everything I need. And I went inside the gas locker and I noticed that there was a hole in the floor, and it was close to this area here. In fact, I'll show you here, this is what's left of it actually, because it came apart in my hands. I'll put a close-up in the video for you. Now, as you can see, I don't even think this is marine ply actually. It's, what, 5 or 6 mil ply. And it's rotten, just completely rotten out. It wasn't even painted on the underside. And there's a reason for this, because in my opinion, there's a flaw in the design of the floor. But luckily, you can repair it. Now, I'm going to explain how you repair it. I can't show you, unfortunately, because it was a very emergency job. We needed to get it ready to go away, so I didn't have time to film it. But now I'm going to explain how you do it. So let me explain, first of all, how the floor is made. It is sandwiched with 4 mil ply at the top. The blue section is a composite foam, and then there's a composite resin board underneath, which is the outside area of the actual locker boarding. So this rather crude drawing explains the top section, which is 4 mil ply, as I said. And you'll note in the section at the bottom, the straight edge, this is the important part, because this is where it rots. And I'll explain in the next picture whereabouts that is and why it does it. So the section you can see in red is the underside, so it's composite that you're looking at. However, what Swift do, they router out the area in red down to the 4 mil ply, which is on the other side. But they don't treat this section, they just leave it as raw wood. So naturally, over time, water gets up through the gaps, which have to be there for legal reasons to allow the locker to breathe, and that causes the rot. So the whole of that section in red will rot out, and this is what we need to be mindful of. So you can see the problem that you're going to get. It's quite glaringly obvious when you think about it, especially if Swift don't treat the section that's been cut out. It's just going to eventually, all the water's going to come up inside and just rot it out, as it has done in ours. Our caravan is 7.5 years old now, and obviously it's took that long to rot it out. Now, I have repaired it. As I said before, it was very difficult to film. In fact, I just didn't have the time, to be really honest with you. So as a result of that, I'm going to explain a few things now. I nipped to B&Q and I bought myself a length of 4 mil ply. Now, I couldn't get marine ply because they didn't have any in stock. But nonetheless, if you can get hold of marine ply, I would advise you get that instead. Now, what I did was, with this, is you have to take the floor out, but you can't get it completely out through this gap. No matter which way I tried, I couldn't remove the floor. So first of all, I'm going to explain how you take it out. So first of all, we need to have a look inside again and look at 2 brackets that are either side of here. So let's take a look at those now. So on opposite sides of the caravan itself inside, you can see this T-shaped bracket here. There's 2 screws that hold the board up, and also there are 3 that attach to the side bulkhead there. Now, there's another piece underneath here which sandwiches it and slides it. You need to remove all 3 screws and the 2 screws that hold it to the actual board. There's a reason for that, otherwise you'll not be able to lift this section upwards in order to access the bottom. So once I'd removed all the 5 screws from each bracket, what I did then is I removed the gas bottle housing strap system and the base plate from the bottom of the caravan floor. So that came out as well. Now you can, if you want to, remove your pigtail, but I managed to keep mine in situ. The next thing you need to do is actually look underneath the caravan. Now before you do that, please make sure that you've chocked the wheels and you've raised it up high enough so that you can get underneath there safely. Preferably it's great if you've got somebody with you who can keep an eye on it while you're underneath. Now underneath there is a cable around about here and one on each side for the running lights. What you need to do is remove the screws that hold the P-clips in, which hold the wires up against the actual floor, and disconnect the plugs. They're very simple to do. Now if yours is like mine, then you're going to have to cut that rot out, which is what I did. I cut it out with a electric trim tool and cut it right back to the shape and design that it is. Then what I did was I treated all that with some black paint and left that to go off overnight. I returned the following day with a sheet of 4mm plywood, and it was just almost the length or width of the inside of the caravan. But the problem being is I had difficulties then obviously trying to get the shape of how I wanted it without actually trying to remove, which was impossible, to remove the floor. So what I did was I got myself some cardboard and I made myself a cardboard template of the inside of the flooring. I then took that, including the extra bit that was missing, I took that to the actual piece of ply that I had and cut it out and got that nice and neat. There was a little bit of to-in and fro-in, I have to admit, until I got it right, but nonetheless it did work. The only downside to get it in, I did have to cut it right down the centre. I'll show you what I've done in a moment. So I hope you can see it. It's actually, if I just try and get my finger inside the lens, it's there, just about there, where the little notch out for the gas pipe is. So what I did was I cut it in half and then I managed to fit it in. I used a tube of OB1 to glue it to the existing floor because the top inside was perfect. It was just that little section. I also come up with another idea, which was where the cutout section is, and we've got our now fresh ply, I did find some thin white plastic and I used that in order to actually glue to it so that we had a plastic finish underneath instead of just the bare wood painted. Well folks, that's how I managed to repair the inside of my gas locker. It's not a great design. I hope that the new ones have had this design designed out and it doesn't rot for anybody else. But if you've got between a 2016 and probably a 2023 model, I highly advise that you go and have a look one day. Just look underneath. You can't miss it. And if it's bare wood, then I would advise you take it up and treat it before it rots out and costs you money and time and effort. I'd hate to think how much a caravan dealer would charge to have this actually done, because it took me hours. Another reason why I didn't film it. Well, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you'll join us again real soon, but in the meantime, bye for now.